guys, so today's video is going to be books I would like to reread in 2026. So I actually started doing this in March and I've actually already completed 2 rereads in 2026. And that means I'm going to be listening to the audiobooks for most of these, and I actually will be doing 2 physical rereads. One is a series and one is before the movie comes out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books on this list, actually. And it's 15 because it's actually 10 plus 5 because the 5 are part of the series. So let's talk about the 2 that I've already read. So the first one in March was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And the reason why I reread this was because the movie was coming out and I just really wanted to refresh my memory before the movie came out. And actually, I had never listened to the audiobook the first time around. So, and everybody always recommends how good this audiobook actually is and how good Ray Porter's narration is. So I really just wanted to listen to it for myself. And I finally got it on my Audible credit for March, and I was like, I need to listen to this before the movie comes out, and I finished it the day before we saw the movie. And actually, my best friend listened to the audiobook as well before it came out, because we had like this pact where he asked me to watch Reread because he wants me to watch anime and I want him to read fiction because he's really strictly a nonfiction reader, like meaning he just listens to nonfiction books. He doesn't really read any physical books unless it's a nonfiction book, and he reads like really slowly. So I was like, why don't you try audiobooks and why don't you try something that is a sci-fi, because he's really into like science and stuff. And he loved it. So, and then I watched Reread and I loved that too. So it was great, of course. This again is a 4.5 stars, and I cannot wait to watch the movie again when it's out at home so I can watch it with my mom. So yeah, that was my first one, and it was still 4.5. And then the second one that I just finished, I think a week ago, I finished it right before the second book came out because I wanted to listen to the first book again before the second book came out, because I actually got the ARC for the second one, and that is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. And I wanted to re-listen to it to refresh my memory for the second book, and I think I still prefer the first book over the second book. This was another 4.5 stars, and I'm going to talk about this in my April wrap-up, obviously. But I really enjoy the audiobook for The Rose Bargain. The voices are really, really good. It has a multiple POV cast, and they're all British narrators, and honestly, I really do enjoy the audiobook for The Rose Bargain. So if you didn't want to pick up the physical book, or if you just wanted to listen to the audiobook, I highly suggest it because it's a really good audiobook to listen to. So yeah, it's just such a fun, interesting concept, and it's a YA, but honestly, I feel like it's not that youngly written, that I feel like people could enjoy it no matter what age you are. And it's just a really fun book. So then I think I finished it again the day before the Thorn Queen, and then I was able to go right into the Thorn Queen. And it really helped me, get the full experience again. And I honestly was remembering a lot when I re-listened to it. And I was like, wow, I remember that. I remember this. And it was just such a fun time to listen to again. So this one is about I don't really have to talk about what they're about. I'm just telling you what's on my list. So it's just a great, easy, and it's only a duology. So if you wanted to read either of these, it's a duology and then you're done. So it's not like a long series to commit to. Okay, the next up is going to be my next reread in May, and that is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I literally cannot wait to listen to this book again because Broken Dove is coming out May 12th, and that is probably my most anticipated read this year, besides ACOTAR 6 and the Fourth Wing novella that we're getting now. And yeah, I'm just so excited for this book. I literally cannot wait. And the third Quicksilver, obviously. But this one is probably the one I'm the most excited to read this year because I was literally fucking obsessed with Silver Elite when I read it. So I am so excited to refresh my memory and listen to it again. And I think I did enjoy the audiobook the first time, but honestly, I really don't remember too much about the actual book. I remember some things, but I really cannot wait to listen to it again so I can be so ready to go into Broken Dove the day it comes out, which is May 12th, which I believe is the same night as the Silent Book Club. So you best believe I'm going to be just reading that at Silent Book Club. So I'm so excited to read it again. Um, but yeah, I just want to be obsessed all over again. I really haven't been obsessed with like a romantasy series this year. I mean, I read ones that I really liked, but honestly, the adult romantases that I've read, I haven't really been obsessed with them. So like, and Rights of the Starling was such a fucking Rights of disappointment because that book was atrocious. But we'll get into that in my wrap up later, in May. But what else was I gonna say? I might add one more book to this actually, because if I don't do it now, I'm gonna forget. I just wanted to make sure when Broken Dove is coming out. I know it's May 12th. I just wanted to know when the book club is. It is, yeah, May 12th. Perfection. So I can pick up my copy of Broken Dove. I might pick it up there because I'm not going to be returning that book. So it would be from an indie bookstore so I can support them, but also like they don't have a return policy. And I wanted to return my second DNF of the entire year. Also, I'm going to probably make an entire video of books that I've DNF'd because I have a feeling that I'm going to be doing that more often because I refuse to push through books that I don't like anymore. And we're going to talk about that in that video though. Like my whole philosophy on DNFing. Like I feel like it's a whole kind of a very controversial thing in the book space where it's like why the hell would you DNF a book if you bought it? But we want to like every single book we pick up, but unfortunately we don't. And this reread list is because these are books that I loved. So I'm so excited to reread Silver Elite. I literally cannot wait. Okay, then probably the two rereads that I'm going to read over the summer. Actually, the three, because there's one that's coming out with an audiobook because I didn't have an audiobook before. There actually might be four this summer. So depending on, I think for June, because I don't think I need to reread any of these in June that are like a first book in a series. So basically like I wanted to reread Lightlark and I wanted to reread some other like fantasy series, but honestly, it's so much easier to reread books that only have one book in the series out so far. Or if it's just like a duology, because it's like, then I have time to reread one book a month. So rereading a whole series is a commitment, unless it's ACOTAR, which we'll get to soon. So anyway, so next up, I think my reread for June is going to be One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I am dying to reread this book, and I really cannot wait to read it in the depths of summer because this was my favorite summer romance last year and my favorite romance of 2025 that I really do want to reread it. I'm going to be reading One Perfect Storm by her in May because it comes out May 5th, so it comes out the week before Broken Dove. But I've also heard that that one's not as good as One Golden Summer, but I don't care. I'm still reading both of them. Her books are just like such perfectly immaculate summer vibes, even though her previous books I really wasn't that crazy about, and then One Golden Summer was a 6-star read. I'm really excited to reread this book, And I might actually physically reread it along with the audiobook. Also, because I feel like after May, I might actually have time to physically reread a book because I'm not planning on physically rereading any other books until like October or November. Actually, August through November. But this is my only physical reread that I'm going to do over the summer until like maybe the end of August, beginning of September. And I just love it. So I'm so excited to reread that book. And then the other two, I think there's only two, would be Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton, I believe her name is. Let me just make sure I have. Actually, this video did not take me that long to film. Oh, and The Guncle too. I have to put that on my list. Oh, I just did. Dummy. Hold on. So there might be 3 rereads this summer. But also I never read The Guncle physically either. But we'll get into that in a minute. Air of Storms is by, pretty sure it's something Hamilton. Storms. Lauren Hamilton Murphy. Okay, I just didn't have her last name. But I did have her first and middle name. So, I actually read this book completely physically when it came out. Before it came out on release day. I don't really have time to do that anymore. Even though I'm unemployed, I'm just such an audiobook snob at this point that I have to have the audiobook for every single book that I read. Or I have to have, the assisted reader on Kindle if it doesn't have an audiobook. So, Air of Storms, I don't think it had an audiobook when it came out either because it was like her debut novel and it wasn't that popular. But now since it has an audiobook, I'm going to listen to the audiobook. So this will be a completely new experience for me listening to the audiobook for the first time. So I'm very excited for that. And then also the other book that gets an audiobook in July, I believe, is when it's getting traditionally published. And you best believe I'm going to be picking up a physical copy of this. Even though it was on Kindle Unlimited, I still need to own it. And that is Daggermouth by R.M. Wolfe. This book has been absolutely everywhere. It was my favorite romantasy book of the entire year so far. This is probably the only romantasy book that I was it wasn't like an obsession. It was more so that this book was just amazingly written and it's just such a powerful story. And I'm just so excited to listen to the audiobook for this because it's getting its audiobook in July. So I'm so excited to listen to the audiobook because we didn't have one for months. And, I did use the assisted reader, but I cannot wait to put voices to the actual characters of this book. I'm so excited. How many times can I say I'm excited? And then I might not reread this, but I kind of want to because me and Felicia are planning to do a buddy read of the second book this summer, and that is The Guncle, like I said, by Stephen Rowley. This was one of my favorite books that I read last year. I gave it 6 stars. It's a 6-star read for me. It's amazing. I love it. But the narrator's voice is so... Oh my god, I love his voice. And also this book is fucking hysterical. And I just need like a comfort read this summer. And The Guncle is just... The Guncle is just, hold on one second, hold on. So yeah, The Guncle, I just really think I'm going to re-listen to it. If I don't get to it though, I will just, listen to the second one too. And I'm still going to read that this summer anyway, because I really want to. It just like wasn't a book that I needed to like immediately go into the sequel because it's like, I feel like they're kind of written as standalones and you can just like pick it up when you want to. So I'm very excited to go into The Guncle abroad. So, and it's going to be, again, me and Felicia's buddy read for the summertime. So, along with The Correspondent and I believe Yesteryear, depending on what her book club picks for May, we might end up reading Yesteryear in May. But we'll see. So anyway, excuse me. Then I'm probably going to be starting my ACOTAR reread in August. I'm going to try and reread the first 2 books in August, and then the second 2 books in September, and then the 5th book in October, right before ACOTAR 6 comes out. I think that is a good plan. I'm wearing my House of Wings and Ruin, House of Wind book club shirt. Sweatshirt. I love this sweatshirt so much. I got it from Target. I think I showed it in another video. But also I realized that this video is not too long because, like, I need to stop making such long videos, but also, like, this video takes, like, no time to film. So yeah, obviously I'm going to be doing an ACOTAR reread before 6 comes out because I feel like everyone's going to be doing a reread. So I'm going to start with A Court of Thorns and Roses, obviously. I've been wanting to reread it for quite a while now. I haven't read ACOTAR since February of 2024, because that's when I first started reading Sarah J. Maas, and I started with Throne of Glass in the end of December 2023, and I read the whole series the whole month of January, because obviously if you read those 7 books, because I read Throne of Glass to Kingdom of Ash in Kingdom of Ash, if I could speak, all of January, and that was all I read that month, and I absolutely loved it, and then I went straight into ACOTAR, so I did 2 back-to-back big series, but Throne of Glass is definitely bigger, and I just became absolutely obsessed. But I think Throne of Glass I love more, but the first 3 books of ACOTAR, I don't care what anybody says about the first book, I love it, but I'm going to be very curious to see what my thoughts are going to be when I start my reread, so I'm 100% rereading all the books before October. I don't even care what else is going to be on my TBR from August to October. I also want to start listening to the Crescent City books in August. So I have to start listening to the first book in August. So that will probably complete all of my rereads to August, and then I will just be concentrating on ACOTAR. Yeah, I don't think I need to read any of the other ones except for 1. And then the other 2 are November. So, yeah, very excited for my ACOTAR reread. And then, I actually think this one comes out first. I don't know if this one... Let me just look them up really quick. One of them I have the arc for the sequel. And the other one does not get enough hype. Let me see. This one comes out October. Am I even going to have time? I probably will. I'll just listen to it like at the beginning of October. So I think Silver Cloak 2 comes out first. So the next one would be Silver Cloak then by Laura Stevens, right? Stevens or Steven? L.K. Steven is her adult author name, but her YA name is Laura Steven. So anyway, the second book, Turncloak, comes out in September. So that means I'm going to have to listen to Silver Cloak probably by the end of August. So I'm not going to be just necessarily reading ACOTAR in August. It's going to be Silver Cloak too, but I'm just going to be listening to that one. I remember really enjoying the audiobook of it as well, so I'm very excited to listen to it again because I really do want to refresh my memory because I love this book. I've loved both books that I've read by L.K. Steven. I've given both of her books 5 stars. I loved Art of Infinite Fates, and I love Silver Cloak, so I cannot wait to read Turncloak and read the arc for it. I'm very excited to read those back to back. I might not read them back to back though. I might give it a little time, but also I need to read Turncloak before it comes out since I have the arc for it, and I think it comes out like beginning of September. So I might like re-listen to Silver Cloak like in the middle of August. So we're gonna have to see how that works. But August is my birthday month, so I should have enough time to re-listen to it. And then 2 of my other most anticipated sequels come out then, which is Assistant to the Villain 4, which is Adversary to the Villain, and the fifth book in the Serpents and the Wings of Night series by Carissa Broadbent. An Assistant to the Villains by Hannah Nicole Mayer. Serpents and the Wings of Night are by Carissa Broadbent. So, yeah. And that one is The Lioness and the Kingdom of Dark. I can never remember the name of that fifth book. The Lioness something. It doesn't matter right now because we're not rereading any of them. Okay. And then I think I only have 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Right. So next up, I think would be Fallen City by Adrienne Young. I don't know if I really have any interest in rereading this, though. I wasn't really loving the first one. I liked it. This would be strictly because it didn't really suck me in. I liked it, but not enough to reread it. I might, because I do want to read the second book, and it's just a duology, so I probably will reread it. I think that comes out, sorry, my phone is charging. I think, yeah, it's definitely charged enough now. It comes out, Fallen City. He needs to resties. I wanted to play with him, but it's fine. The second one comes out in December. Okay, so I don't need to, never mind. I don't need to reread that until December. My bad. But we don't have to make a decision until then anyway. So I think there's these 3 other books all come out before that. So the next one I believe would be Air by Saba Tahir. And I really want to listen to this because we did get an announcement date on the second book in the duology, because this is the spin-off book to the spin-off series to Ember in the Ashes, which I absolutely love. Oh, the second book comes out in September. I might not read these until December, because in September and October ACOTAR is just gonna be taking over my entire life. Then I might not be able to reread any other books in September and October besides ACOTAR. So I think we're gonna give myself some grace, and we're already gonna be listening to Silvercloak again. So yeah, but I really do want to listen to Air again, because then we have even a heavier book in November to listen to, and I'm going to be doing a physical reread of this book as well. Well, 2 books actually. One of them I'm just going to listen to the audiobook. The other one I'm going to be doing a physical reread along with the audiobook. So with Air, I don't know when we're gonna have time. Because November, we don't have to worry about ACOTAR anymore, but we have 2 other books that I'm 100% rereading then. And that is Brimstone by Kelly Hart. Obviously going to be doing a re-listen to the second book. Not really necessarily the first book. We might, just because it is the last book in the series that's coming out in November, and I'm very, very excited for it. But I don't know if we're going to have time to listen to both. I would like to, but if we don't listen to Quicksilver, we are definitely re-listening to Brimstone. So, and then the last one on this list could change, but I don't think I'm going to be rereading any other books I don't think so. Oh, also, there is actually one more. But that doesn't come out until December either. And I'm going to be just listening to the audiobook. But let's talk about the only other physical reread I'm going to be doing this year is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, because the movie's coming out at the end of November. I want to be destroyed. I want to be reading the book along with the audiobook, because I bought the physical copy of it. I bought the special edition one, and I want to read the physical copy because I actually read it from Libby, and I was like, I need something from Hunger Games, because I feel like I'm not a reader if I don't own one of the books at least. Like, we own all of the original hardback books of the trilogy, of the original Hunger Games trilogy. So, but I don't have room to display them in my room. But I'm thinking about getting a whole nother bookcase too. That'll be a whole nother video. Um, because I really want to put another bookcase next to my desk. So probably will be my next project for the next week. Yeah. There's just so many things I need to do still. But anyway, we are going to be physically rereading the book because I never read it. I'm not actually going, well, I read it on Libby, so I just read it on my Kindle. But we are going to be physically rereading this beautiful edition. Isn't this so pretty? Like, but, you know, it's so pretty on how much it breaks your heart. It's like, oh, it's so pretty, but your whole life is going to be shattered. It's like, literally, our tears will not be used for their entertainment. It's so true, because everybody sobs at this book. So, and then these are the edges on top, and then these are the end papers. So, I just really want to read the physical book. And then the last one is Star Chaser by R.M. Gray, and that is the second book in the Night Weaver series. I always want to call it Nightcrawler. But I'm like, Caitlin, no, it's not an X-Men. It's a fantasy book. And I want to listen to the second book again to refresh my memory for the third one. So the third one is called, the second book to air is Empire. And then the second book to Thorn Season, I believe, is called The Sharpest Lives. Oh, by the way, Thorn Season is like criminally underrated. Did I even talk about that? I forgot to talk about that. I am so sorry. Oopsie poopsie. I was trying to talk about them in order of when I was going to reread them, but I want to reread this maybe at the beginning of November, along with Brimstone and Sunrise on the Reaping, because I'm really wanting to go into Empire and Sharpest Court when they come out. But also, this comes out at the end of October, so I won't be able to probably read it because ACOTAR 6 comes out at the end of October. So, Thorn Season by Kira Azar is the first book in the Thorn Season series. There's no other announcements of any other books besides the second one. I don't know how long the series is going to be. Maybe it's going to be a duology. But if you guys like Rose Bargain, you need to read Thorn Season. If you're looking for those vibes of like Bridgerton or like a seasonal like competition kind of read, but totally different than Rose Bargain as well, but gives you like kind of the same vibes, you need to read this book. I absolutely loved this book. I cannot wait to reread it. I gave it a 5 stars. I thought it was one of the most unique YA books that I've read in a while. And there's such a good murder mystery plot in it. So the second book, The Sharpest Court, again, comes out October 22nd. So I really want to read the second book as well. So, yeah. Let me just see. I think Fallen City comes out in December. So the third book in the Night Weaver series comes out in September. I thought it was coming out in December. What? Hold on, let me check Kindle. Because sometimes Goodreads don't always update the release date. Yeah, it says September 1st. I'm probably not going to be reading it September 1st. That means I'm going to have 2 rereads in September with Star Chaser and Silver Cloak. Great. That's fantastic. I knew that these fantasy books coming out the last 3 months of the year, well, September, October, and November, yeah. Well, December, there's really nothing. Yeah. I thought it was coming out in December. What's the one I was going to look up? Yeah, but anyway, the third book is called Cursebreaker. And I really would like to listen to Star Chaser, before it comes out. So yeah, that is pretty much it, you guys. Those are all the books that I would like to reread in 2026. I'm 100% going to be rereading Silver Elite next, obviously, because Broken Dove is coming out very soon, and I'm super excited for it. But also we have to think about like I think I'm gonna do One Golden Summer, then The Guncle, and Air of Storms, because Air of Storms. Oh, I didn't say when the second book is coming out for Air of Storms. And then we can end this video. Air of Storms. The second book comes out July 21st, and it's called Tides of Fortune. Fortune, whatever. Also, I'm not going to be doing a reread of Direbound because the second book comes out May 5th, and that is Furybound, but I have a pretty good handle on what happened in the first book, also because I read it completely on my Kindle before I knew about the assisted reader, because there was no audiobook for it. Maybe I will listen to the audiobook, but honestly, I'd rather re-listen to Silver Elite, because I remember what happened in Direbound. I don't really remember much of Silver Elite, even though I gave Silver Elite 5 stars and I gave Direbound a 4-star. So yeah, that is pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at CW819. Can I speak? Follow me. And check out my Goodreads and my TikTok listed in the description box below. And I hope you guys have a great day. And let me know if any of these are on your list, what you're highly anticipating. If you do rereads, I've recently got more into rereads. I don't think I did much of any rereads last year. Besides Fourth Wing, obviously, because I had to re-listen to Fourth Wing and Iron Flame before Onyx Storm came out. But before the fourth book comes out next year for Fourth Wing, I'm obviously going to be re-listening to Onyx Storm, because that was the only one I didn't re-listen to, because obviously, like, I tried to, but then I was like, I think I'm just going to re-listen to it before it comes out. Because I can't wait a whole nother year refreshing my memory, because we haven't had a new one since January 2025. So anyway, yeah, I didn't really do many rereads last year, but this year it really has been a great way to just refresh my memory about some books that I absolutely loved. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day and keep reading. Bye. Hey guys, so it's a couple of weeks later, but I just have one more book to add to this list that I actually already reread, because like I said, I was going to reread Silver Elite in May, and I did because I wanted to listen to it before Broken Dove, and I listened and read both of them. So I just listened to the audiobook for Silver Elite. I was thinking about reading it physically as well, but I just didn't have enough time. So I just listened to the audiobook, and I finished it, like, I think the night of, right before Broken Dove came out. I did the same thing with, why am I rhyming 5 billion times? Oh. Okay, so anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, that's it. That's all I really had to say. I don't think there's going to be any more books that I'm going to reread. I'm just having trouble figuring out which book I want to reread in June, because actually June is like the one month where I want to read like reread like 3 books, because July, like I said, I want to reread the sequel to, I mean, the first book before the sequel to Air of Storms comes out, I want to reread Air of Storms because I actually never listened to the audiobook because I read that book completely physically when it came out. Because I read it before it came out because I found it at Barnes like a week before. And then August, I can't remember what my reread was going to be for August. I think it might have been Silver Cloak because I do have the arc for Turncloak and I want to reread Silver Cloak before I read the second book. Let me just see my list one more time. Reread list. Because I'm also going to start my ACOTAR reread in August. And also I'm going to re-listen to Daggermouth in July as well. Because, you know, the audiobook is going to be coming out for that because I didn't even have an audiobook before. So for June, I could either listen to The Guncle, One Golden Summer, or possibly Every Summer After. I should have said Every Summer After before One Golden Summer, but you know, my brain. So, because the show for Every Summer After, which is called Every Year After, comes out June 10th, and that comes out in like 10 days, or like actually like 12 days. So, I don't know. And what's so funny, I feel like this was just a straight up sign for me to reread Every Summer After. I went to a book event like a couple days ago. It was like a blind date with a book swap kind of thing where we brought our own books and wrapped them and we book swapped them with like book girlies. It was actually really cute. It was fun. And the book that I ended up picking was Every Summer After. And I'm like, is this my sign to reread it? So, but I didn't love Every Summer After as much as One Golden Summer. I don't know if I'm just going to reread both of them in June because I might do that, but also I didn't want to read Carly Fortune back to back. I might save One Golden Summer for August in my birthday month to look forward to read my... But also that I have like 4 rereads in August, so... Christ, do my friends ever leave me alone when I'm doing something? I swear to God, it drives me insane. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm gonna have like 4 rereads in August. Because like I said, I'm gonna start my ACOTAR reread in August. And Silver Cloak. Because, like, when does Turncloak actually come out? Oh, it comes out the 15th. So I would be able to listen to Silver Cloak, like, the first week of September. So I don't have to listen to it in August. And then I'll probably read Turncloak, like, a week before it comes out. So I think I would only have to reread ACOTAR then in August. So then if I do Daggermouth and Air of Storms, can I fucking speak? Air of Storms in July. July. I guess I could do... I don't think I'm going to do The Guncle because I'm reading the second book for my book club pick, and that is The Guncle Abroad, and that's the book we ended up picking to read for June. So I don't think I need to reread it. Or I might just reread it like at some point in the summertime. But I don't need to reread it right before I read The Guncle Abroad because I remember enough that I don't need to re-listen to it. But it was one of my favorite books that I read last year. And then One Golden Summer, I guess I'll just do... I don't know. I'm going to have to fit it in. I think I'm just going to listen to One Golden Summer. I really don't feel like listening to... Or maybe I'll just do both in June. I might just do One Golden Summer like the last week of June. And just do Every Summer After like 3 days before the show. But I'm not going to start the show, like, as soon as it comes out. Like, I'm going to wait for, like, a few episodes to be out. Because I actually have, like, 5 billion book adaptations to watch. But I did finish the first season of Dark Matter last night. Because there's actually a second season coming in August. So I just think it's so funny that I waited until May to read the book, and then I just finished the show. And the show was so fucking good that I'm so excited for season 2. I don't know where the hell they're going to take the show in season 2, though, because it pretty much wrapped up in season 1, because that was all based on the book. So I guess I'm pretty sure Blake Crouch probably wrote the screenplay for season 2. That's why season 1 was so good. I swear I'll shut up in a second. But so I finished that, and it was so good. And then also A Good Girl's Guide to Murder season 2 just came out. So I want to watch that. And then also Every Year After is now coming out June 10th, and I kind of want to watch that. But Good Girl's Guide to Murder is only 6 episodes, so I'm not going to take too long watching that. I'll probably be done with it like next week. And then Every Year After will come out a little bit after that. I might take a little break from shows for a few days because I've now watched Running Point. Why can't I remember what the other show was that I watched recently? I also really want to watch Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV. I kind of feel like I would really like that show. And I've actually been watching a lot of Apple TV shows lately. That's not a book adaptation, though. Margot's Got Money Troubles. I just finished that book adaptation. So, because I loved that book, and that was such a good show, too. But they changed quite a bit at the end, which kind of annoyed me. But that's also getting a season 2. This was my point. And it kind of makes more sense for it to get a season 2 because they left a certain thing out of the first season that was at like 70 or 80% into the book, but also they changed something else that was important, which annoyed me a little bit. But Dark Matter, the changes that they made perfect sense because Blake Crouch wrote the screenplay. So I do understand where they left off in the first season of Margot's Got Money Troubles to make a season 2. It kind of makes perfect sense, but also, like, I don't know why they changed it. It was so good until, like, episode 7 or 8, and then I was like, why the fuck did they change that? So, anyway, I'm gonna go, so I will make a decision, and you'll see which one I decide to reread in June, but I think it's going to be One Golden Summer because I'm just dying to reread that in the summertime. It was my favorite romance, not just my favorite summer romance last year, but my favorite romance that I read last year in general. So, yeah, that's it. Bye.